Young Sheldon director defends Georgie and Mandy's sequel as a worthy replacement amid skepticism. When Young Sheldon wrapped its 7-season run in 2024, fans were left both satisfied and heartbroken. The prequel to The Big Bang Theory had carved out its own niche, balancing family drama with heartwarming humor and the occasional gut punch of existential insight. But as the credits rolled on Sheldon Cooper's Texas childhood, CBS was already looking toward the future. Enter the Georgie and Mandy spin-off, a series focused on Sheldon's older brother Georgie and his now wife Mandy as they navigate marriage and parenthood while trying to run the family business in Medford. Initially met with cautious curiosity, the show quickly became the center of a growing online debate. Could it really replace Young Sheldon? Did the show have enough narrative depth to thrive on its own? Or was it just a shallow attempt to extend a franchise that had already told its most compelling story? Facing the criticism head-on, Young Sheldon director and executive producer Alex Reed recently broke his silence in a passionate defense of the spin-off. His words? "This isn't just a replacement. It's the next chapter, and a worthy one at that. A spin-off with legacy shoes to fill." Reed's defense comes at a critical time. With Young Sheldon ending on a high note, its finale praised for its emotional resonance and smart connections to The Big Bang Theory, audiences were understandably skeptical of a continuation that didn't center Sheldon himself. "It's not about replicating Sheldon's journey," Reed explained in a recent Variety interview. "That story's been told. But Georgie and Mandy are characters we watched grow in real time. We saw them struggle, laugh, fight, and fall in love. Their story is only just beginning." This spin-off, officially titled Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, is set in the late 1990s and follows the couple as they juggle new parenthood, expanding business opportunities, and the awkward collision of youthful inexperience and adult responsibility. Montana Jordan and Emily Osment return in their respective roles, bringing with them the chemistry that made their arc in Young Sheldon a surprise highlight. Grounded comedy meets family chaos. While Young Sheldon was narrated by Jim Parsons and driven by the intellectual antics of a child genius, Georgie and Mandy leans into more grounded territory. "It's more blue-collar, more relatable in some ways," Reed said. "This is a couple in their early 20s who never planned to have a child, who suddenly find themselves running a tire shop and raising a daughter. That's ripe ground for humor, pathos, and growth. Instead of scientific theories and academic competitions, the series trades in leaky diapers, late rent, nosy neighbors, and workplace misadventures. The stakes are lower on paper, but Reed insists they're just as compelling. The show explores how people evolve when they're forced to grow up faster than expected. Georgie's always been underestimated, and now he's the man of the house. There's also a distinct tonal shift. While Young Sheldon occasionally drifted into heavier themes, religion, mortality, and mental health among them, Georgie and Mandy positions itself as a half-hour family dramedy with a bit more levity. "Think Boy Meets World meets Parenthood, but with a Southern twist," said Reed. Skepticism from fans, and from within, fan skepticism is nothing new in the world of spin-offs, and Reed admits the creative team anticipated pushback. "We're not naive. We know people are asking, why not a Missy show, or why not continue with Sheldon in Pasadena? But we chose Georgie and Mandy because their story organically leads somewhere new. It's not forced." Interestingly, even within the Young Sheldon writers' room, not everyone was initially sold on the concept. "There were a few debates early on," Reed confessed. "Some folks felt like we were treading too close to traditional sitcom territory. But once we broke the pilot and saw Montana and Emily in those first scenes together, there was no doubt. They carry the show effortlessly." Montana Jordan, whose portrayal of Georgie evolved from comic relief to emotional core in the final seasons of Young Sheldon, has grown into a surprisingly nuanced performer. Reed noted, "Montana has a natural charisma that doesn't come from acting school. He just gets Georgie. And Emily Osment, she's the anchor. Her comedic timing, her range, her ability to flip from playful to poignant, it's remarkable. Returning faces and new energy." Although the spin-off centers on Georgie and Mandy, several Young Sheldon cast members will be returning, either as regulars or guest stars. Annie Potts, who played the fan-favorite Mima, is already confirmed for a recurring role. "She's going to be a frequent presence," Reed revealed. Mima's sass and wisdom are too good to leave behind. And fans will love seeing how her dynamic shifts now that she's the grandmother figure to cease. As for Missy Cooper Reagan Revord, Sheldon's twin sister, and Mary Cooper Zoe Perry, their return is more limited but still on the table. "We want to keep the door open," Reed said. "The Cooper family isn't going anywhere. But we want Georgie and Mandy to stand on its own, not just as a parade of callbacks. That said, there will be nods to the larger universe. Sharp-eyed viewers may spot timeline references, character mentions, and even Easter eggs tying back to the Big Bang Theory. We're respectful of the legacy," Reed affirmed, "but we're not leaning on it." Embracing the changing landscape of sitcoms, a major part of Reed's defense revolves around the changing nature of television itself. "We're not in the three-camera laugh track era anymore," he said. "Audiences expect more texture. Young Sheldon pushed the sitcom format forward, and we plan to keep doing that. To that end, Georgie and Mandy will use a single camera style similar to its predecessor, giving it a more cinematic look and feel. Episodes will vary in tone, from laugh-out-loud comedy to episodes that might just make you cry. The days of formulaic sitcoms are over," said Reed. "We want this show to reflect life. Sometimes messy, sometimes hilarious, sometimes heartbreaking, but always real. Defying expectations." For all the criticism, early test screenings of the pilot have been overwhelmingly positive. CBS executives have reportedly been very pleased, with one source describing the show as charming, sharp, and surprisingly heartfelt. That bodes well for a series many had written off before it even aired. Reed believes that, ultimately, time will prove the doubters wrong. Nobody thought young Sheldon could live up to the Big Bang Theory. And yet, here we are 7 seasons later, Emmy nominations, and a massive fan base. He pauses for a beat. Maybe the lesson is, don't underestimate the underdogs. That's kind of Georgie's whole story anyway. A worthy successor. Whether Georgie and Mandy's first marriage will enjoy the same longevity as its predecessor remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the creative team isn't resting on nostalgia. They're aiming for something that both honors the past and builds a future. "Spin-offs aren't supposed to be carbon copies," said Reed. "They're meant to evolve, surprise, challenge, and yes, entertain. This isn't a footnote. It's a full chapter." As premiere day draws near and the first promotional teasers roll out across social media, the initial skepticism is slowly giving way to curiosity. For fans who spent years watching Sheldon's world unfold, this may be the perfect way to stay in Medford just a little bit longer. And for everyone still on the fence? Alex Reed offers one final thought. Give us 3 episodes. If you don't laugh, cry, or fall in love with Georgie and Mandy, fine, no hard feelings. But I think you will.